I'm Steve Brown, and in 2005 I suffered a spinal injury, so I know what a challenging time it can be for somebody who's recently gone through a life-changing event. A lot of people in this situation need to instruct a solicitor to understand and navigate the legal process that often follows a serious injury. So I've come to Hugh James to find out exactly what you can expect when you ask them to deal with your claim. Finding a solicitor you can trust during this time can be an overwhelming thought. So I'm meeting three of the best in the business: Cari Sowden-Taylor, Ruth Powell, and Ciaran McCabe.
So I am a solicitor and a partner at Hugh James, and I jointly head up the National Serious Injury Team.
I'm the head of the Clinical Negligence Department here at Hugh James.
I jointly head up with Cari Sowden-Taylor the serious injury practice across our 5 offices.
And let's face it, for a lot of people, it's going to be quite intimidating approaching a solicitor. How do you put them at ease?
What people want when they dip their toe into this frightening world is a human being who they can relate to, who they can see understands the problems that they're facing.
We're often contacted by families when their loved one is in hospital, so we can be involved at quite an early stage.
I want them to feel as if in some small part they've been able to hand over their stress and the burden of what they're carrying to me.
During that first meeting, obviously it's important for us to listen to what the individual's background is, what has happened, and then to be able to provide advice in a friendly and professional way.
How do people feel when they approach you?
I think that when people approach us, they're probably at the most vulnerable time of their lives.
The most important thing is to have a connection with that solicitor. Do you feel comfortable speaking to the solicitor who is going to represent you? And it may be for a good few years.
I think if you're instructing a serious injury lawyer, you need to look at whether they're capable of doing the work, and you should be asking the individual about previous cases they've been involved in.
So what generally happens in those early stages of representing a client?
We're doing our best to try and get an interim payment as quickly as possible, so that perhaps the interim payment can be used to supplement the loss of income.
As a firm, simply due to our size, we have good connections, great connections with the best rehabilitation centres in the country.
And if we recognise that there are certain things that need to be done immediately to support them, then we will signpost to various organisations.
Their lives will move on inevitably, and that's what we want for them. We want their lives to move on. But of course, every time your life moves on, there are new challenges.
What actually counts as a serious injury? Who do you represent?
The clients that we represent are all claimants. They've suffered life-changing injuries. It may be a brain injury, spinal cord injury, limb loss.
So we do a lot of free of charge legal work for individuals who are unable to pursue cases to help them on their way.
We'll quickly be able to establish whether or not we think that there is a case there.
So how do you put people at ease when they're going through this process? I mean, potentially it could be very stressful, and it's obviously hugely important.
At Hugh James, everybody's very friendly, approachable, professional, and we do our very best to achieve the best possible outcome for our clients.
We always have to remember and bear in mind that this individual has suffered a life-changing injury, their life has changed completely, and also their family's life has changed completely.
What I would always like to think I've given somebody at that first meeting is a sense of relief. I want them to leave my office thinking,
A big part of this process is the compensation.
As a firm, we've recovered over £60 million for clients whose cases have settled in the last year.
We can't give an answer straight away. It very much depends upon, once we have all the evidence, then we're in a position to start talking about the value of the claim.
And how long can all this take?
How long's a piece of string? It very much depends upon the individual, the circumstances, the injuries.
The usual duration for cases can be up to 4 to 5 years, perhaps longer.
So come on then, why should people choose Hugh James?
We've developed from small origins, but become a litigation powerhouse, one of the leading litigation law firms undertaking serious injury work in this country.
We were recognised very recently as being the leading firm in the PI awards.
You are coming to the best. You know you're going to get a good service when you come to Hugh James.